Well, here we are, our final Transformers unboxing of the year. And today we have the Dramatic Capture Series Autobot Headquarters set, including Optimus Prime, Jazz, and Mainframe. Yeah, this was a Japanese exclusive, like all the other Dramatic Capture sets, and I actually feel like I got a steal on this one. It was only 60 bucks. Actually, it was less than 60, even after, like, all the shipping and everything. I did get it off from Mercari, but the reason that's such a good deal, one, because the price of figures is steadily going up at an alarming rate, but also because Mainframe there is an exclusive figure that was only available with the Titan class Arc. And this is a slightly different deco of him, but still, you know, I really don't mind, considering the only other way to get him was as a pack-in, or just buying him separate. You know, the fact that he's included with an Optimus Prime Earth mode, which I don't have yet, and also a Jazz Earth mode that I don't have yet in this scale, I thought it was a really good deal. And I also am a sucker for the Dramatic Capture series. There's a good shot of the back right there. Shows you who all it comes with, and, you know, I'm really excited for this. It's basically the Earthrise Optimus Prime, and is it Earthrise or Kingdom Jazz? I'm not quite certain. I'll have a clarification up here on screen, but definitely Earthrise Prime, and it's just in a slightly more cartoon-accurate deco, which I'm 100% okay with. Nothing on the other side, so let's go ahead and get the sleeve removed. Yeah. Looks like the front here is just Teletran 1. Any detailing on the other side? Not really. So let's go ahead and crack it open. There we go. Kind of basic, doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but I can find a replacement trailer for Optimus. And Jazz just comes with a blaster, which I'm pretty sure that's all the Studio Series version came with as well. And as far as my recollection goes, it is the same mold, or just a slight retool. Go ahead and take this out. Hang on to the instructions because I'm going to need those for later. And let's go ahead and set them free. That was way more difficult to get them out of the box than it should have been, and it's because they decided to put those little rubber ties like in between the finger grips, like not like each individual finger, but like in between the finger and thumb. Not just on Optimus, but on Jazz too, and Jazz's hands don't open. So they really want to make sure that figure was secure, that wasn't going anywhere. I do think it's kind of funny how on the box you see you got Mainframe's like face readout right there, whereas in the box it's in the opposite window. You know, that's not like a big deal. I'm not going to claim false advertisement or anything. I think these panels were actually swapped on the Arc version as well. I could be mistaken, but I think that's the case. But so yeah, Teletran 1. I just think that this is a really funny idea because you remember, like, in the pilot episode of the show, Soundwave tried to hack Teletran 1 with Ravage. I can just imagine, he approaches the computer trying to hack it, and then suddenly it comes to life and just starts beating him up. I just think that's, like, one of the funniest things ever. It's like, oh, the Autobot computer was actually an Autobot the whole time. Before we actually take a look at Teletran 1, I want to take a look at Earthrise Optimus and Jazz here and compare them with some of my other figures that I have. And I'm finally fleshing out my Autobot ranks a bit more, and I really have been collecting mostly Decepticons over the last couple of years. Up first, a figure that I'm actually very excited to go over, we have Origins Jazz, which is his Cybertronian mode from the pilot episode. This is not the Dramatic Capture variant because my brother actually gave me these figures piecemeal, and they announced a Dramatic Capture set after he had already gotten me Bumblebee and Wheeljack, which, you know, I'm not upset, like, in the slightest. I actually kind of prefer the original Origins color scheme to the Dramatic Capture variant. And again, these were gifts from my brother for the last, couple of years over, like, Christmas and birthdays and such. So I will get around to reviewing these guys probably at the start of the new year. I really love the Cybertronian variants, but I just wanted to show you a little size comparison here. Even when you stand them up straight, Earthrise or Kingdom Jazz here, Earth Mode Jazz is a little bit taller than his Cybertronian counterpart. But I do love the detailing on this one. Beautiful figure, but we'll come back to him later. Slight comparison for the blasters here, we do see that this one is cast in black, this one's cast in white, but is painted silver, but they are both undeniably Jazz's blaster. Next, a Christmas gift that Bree gave me, we have Sideswipe from the Devastation toy line. Studio Series Devastation. Yeah, roughly the same size as Jazz. I kind of get behind that. Haven't really taken the time to transform him yet, I just opened him just to use a size comparison for this video. Optimus still kind of towering over them in the back. So let's get a Optimus proxy in here. From the Age of the Primes 4-pack, we have Ultra Magnus. Yeah, he's only just a little bit taller than Jazz and Sideswipe. Not quite as tall as Earthrise Optimus, but you know, that's all well and good. He's not meant to be that scale quite anyway. So how about someone who is closer in scale? Laser Prime, who also came from Target, just like the Age of the Primes 4-pack. Standing shoulder to shoulder and going by head height, they are pretty spot on, with the Earthrise one maybe being ever so slightly taller. It's really the shoulder stacks that give Laser Prime the height. So to compare with Optimus, how about we use Megatron? Classics Megatron, because that's the one that I use for my collection currently. Standing straight up, yeah, he actually is still a little bit taller than Optimus. And then, of course, we have the current iteration of Galvatron, just to kind of size compare as well. Gives you an idea of how tall Optimus is compared to these other figures. I got a couple others that we can go over for car mode when we get there. I think I am going to take a look at Optimus first, because I actually really wanted to get an Optimus for my collection that fits in with the G1 aesthetic. So this is effectively just the Earthrise Optimus, but it is in different shades of red and blue, and I think they use white instead of silver. I've never owned an Earthrise one, but I've watched a few videos on it, and yeah, it looks pretty spot on to the cartoon. Maybe a slightly deeper shade of red than I'm used to with Optimus. I think that the red needs to be just a tiny bit brighter, like, not quite that shade, because that's got a little bit of an orangish to it, but just ever so slightly lighter if you want to go like full cartoon accurate. Now, if you're watching it on an old degraded VHS tape, maybe it looks like this. Yeah, it's kind of a joke I made during my Unicron video about color differences and all that. Articulation, arms, the shoulders do the full 360, the hands open, which I think that's really cool, and that is because this Optimus, or at least the Earthrise variant, comes with a Matrix of Leadership. If I can figure out how to get this open, that's kind of stiff. I see where it opens up, but it's not wanting to. That's not it. It looks like there's a little bit of scuffing behind the chest panel there that's like on the inside. Yeah, I didn't do that. This is my first time taking them out of the box. With a lot of work, you can get the Matrix chamber open, and yeah, not a bad looking Matrix, but it does pretty much just look like all the rest that I've been collecting over the years. It's not one to come out. Well, it's nice and secure in there. Means that Galvatron and the sweeps will be having a hard time taking it from him. You know what? That Matrix can stay in there. I got plenty of others that I can work with. Close that back up, and I'll just give him the Studio Series 86 Galvatron Matrix. There we go. Yeah, looks good in his hand. Not quite big enough. The Matrix itself is not quite big enough for him to fit all of his fingers through it. But he does come with a very nice, very beefy looking blaster too. That's like a hand cannon right there. Like, I never really pegged Optimus's Ion Blaster as this, like, doomsday cannon, but that thing is big. I know there's a lot of other variants around the same time that give you a facsimile or a interpretation of what the Ion Blaster looks like. Like, just a quick thing over here. We got the Age of the Primes Ultra Magnus. He comes with two different variations of the Optimus Prime Blaster, but in white. But that's because this is literally just a repaint of the G1, like, remake of Optimus Prime. I don't remember what line it was from exactly. It's like Legacy, I think. Legacy Optimus Prime. But, yeah, it's like you see, they come with, like, it comes with two different variants depending on what aesthetic you want to go with. But, this one does bend right here. Good for storage, fold away. And both ports are blast effect compatible. That's pretty cool. So, no light piping on this figure, which, you know, that's not terrible. It's not a deal breaker. The head moves up and down, can spin all around because it's on a ball joint. Got some waist swivel. The back wheels do kind of get in the way, but I'm pretty sure those are just on a clip that you can take off. I remember seeing that in a different video. Legs can do a pretty nice split. Can go all the way forward and could go all the way back if you remove the back wheel panel. Wheels are on the side, they spin, that's very good. Now, even though I do love cartoon accurate stuff, I actually do prefer when you see the wheels on Optimus's legs. Like, there's a fine line when it comes to kibble as to how much needs to be on there to show you what it turns into, but also to the point where it's not distracting. Like, Jazz here. Like, you can tell that's the front of the car, and then that's where the roof of the car is and all that. And possible hot take here, when it comes to Jazz, I actually kind of prefer the original G1 toy, like, aesthetic to where he's got door wings. That's not really a feature that you see in most Jazz figures that are going for screen accuracy, because his on-screen model didn't have them. And I guess that is to differentiate him from the Datsuns, because the Datsuns had the door wings. So it's like you can't give all of them door wings, which I think it looks particularly cool on Jazz because he's got that like aviation visor. So it looks like he actually should be flight worthy, but you know, that's just me. I got distracted. So we also got thigh swivel. There's gas tanks for truck mode, which we'll go over when we get there. You got knee bend, and it can bend all the way like that. You have a little bit of ankle pivot, or ankle tilt, and the feet close up like a clamshell. Those got ports on them, so it looks like you could put them onto like a Lego peg and make him stand in place. Short stacks are a little small, a little woeful in that regard. That looks like that should be a screw hole in there, but it's not. It's like a little venting. I wonder... I think those are actually like cast and infused into the part rather than just being popped, like being able to pop them off. That's about it as far as articulation goes. You know, doesn't really have much of an ab crunch, but he's got the waist swivel. And again, I'm pretty sure these wheels can disconnect. I see there's a pin back there. Yeah, it's on like a little... Yeah, you can see that little clamp right there. That can pop off just like that. It looks a little weird with that hanging out now, but now his legs can go all the way forward and most of the way back, but that is still in the way. I don't know if that was a thing on all Earthrise versions or if it's just on this one. I think that the Earthrise version actually got re-released as the Kingdom version. There's been so many re-releases and so many variants of the same figure that it's hard to keep track anymore. But oh well. To me, that's not a deal breaker. I'm okay with his wheels hanging out back there. Alright, so let's put Optimus over here for now. Let's move on to Jazz. Yeah, like I said, I prefer the door wings out, so I'm probably going to keep those out during transformation, like during robot mode, just because that's how I prefer them. Although with the door wings out, you can't quite bend the arms or rotate the arms the full 360 like they're supposed to. There we go. 14 on the side of the car. Call me a scrub if you wish, but I don't remember if that's actually accurate or not. I can't remember the numbers that are on the side of Jazz's robot mode, or car, because, well, I do think Jazz is really cool. He was never one of those characters that I obsessed over and memorized every detail. So, like, he's definitely, like, an essential Transformer, but he's not one that I have near encyclopedic knowledge of. There's very few in that regard. That looks like kind of strangely shaped right there. It looks like... that looks a little off-center. I don't know how to describe it, but you can see it's like bigger on that side than it is right here. It actually looks kind of like there's a film that I'm supposed to peel off right there, but it's not. Anyway, so arms bent at the elbow. No hand twisting. No like rotation of the wrist at all. Just folds in and out. And now it's stuck in there because I have no fingernails. There we go. Waist rotation. Does he come apart at the waist like... No, it looks like that he was supposed to be able to come apart the waist right there, but, you know, kind of like the Datsuns do. I showed that with my Silver Streak video, but like it looks like they reinforced it to where you can't do that. That actually looks like a genuine like gear or something for rotation. So you can't do the thing from the first movie. You want a piece of me? No, I want two. Rips them in half. You can't do that here. I think that's funny. Legs, you can make him go all the way back with a little bit of effort. Got a little bit of like break his leg knee bend right there in the middle. Knee bend, that is some excellent knee bend right there. I wonder if that's like part of the transformation. But either way, that's like very excellent like bendability right there. Dude, just do the Captain Falcon flying knee. That's what we got Jazz for right here. Just bam. He needs to get in on the Jet Judo with Sunstreaker and Sideswipe. Feet, doesn't look like we got a lot of ankle. Oh, there it is, there it is. I thought it was attached to the wheel over here. So yeah, ankle moves right here with the spoiler. The foot opens and closes a little bit. And that's pretty much all I got for Jazz in robot mode. The head, ball joint, like a lot of them. Slide up and down movement. Doesn't look like he transforms the way the Datsuns do at all. Or at least not for the most part. I know that they're not the same car model, but they're vague car silhouettes of a similar shape. So I kind of expected there to be some similar engineering, but it doesn't look like it very much. So yeah, this is going to be really fun to transform when we get to it. His blaster is, well, his blaster. Not really too much to say on that. Just put it in his hand or give it to Spike Witwicky and go hold off the Decepticons while Optimus Prime's on the repair table over there. Alright, and now for what I think is the most impressive part of this set, Mainframe. Well, he's Teletran 1. That's pretty much all I got to say on that. That's what the front looks like, and that's what he's hiding when he is inside the wall. I think that's a port to stash away his little satellite buddy. I think that's what that is. Now the ball there is a little too big. Does that... I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It looks like a tiny little air-john grenade. I haven't looked at the instructions yet. But that plugs back into place. That, I'm pretty sure, is where the golden disc goes. That's one thing that came with the ARC that was not included with the Dramatic Capture set. The only accessory that Mainframe gets is the little spy satellite. I think it's called Spy Eye. I could be wrong, but the little satellite that flies around and scans things to repair Cybertronians when they're damaged. I'll put him aside for now, and take a look at some more of that detail. You got the ARC, and then you got what Mainframe looks like up here, and then, of course, you got the map of the Earth. And I just love, again, I love the idea of Teletran 1 actually being a Transformer. You know, especially when you take things into account, like you had Sentinel in Beast Wars, which is the maximal onboard computer. I just think that's really cool, really funny. I'm checking the instructions real quick to see what that little orb thing is. Now, the instructions weren't very helpful. They didn't really tell me what it was or was supposed to do, but I did find out that the spy satellite is supposed to fold up and it's supposed to fit right here for storage. I do think it's kind of funny. It looks like an extra head. It's kind of like if you wanted to have a faceless bot, like a drone, then that's what you do with him. Because that's kind of a nondescript Autobot chest right there. They could totally like repurpose this robot mode without all the panels and have it be just a Autobot grunt soldier. So on to transforming them. I'm gonna try my luck with Jazz first, because he looks like he'll be the easiest to transform. Well, I was right when I said that Jazz looked like he'd be the easiest to transform, because I got him this far, but I can't figure out how to get the arms to go down. Like, I see where they're supposed to tab into place right there on the doors, but I am gonna have to get the instructions out for this one. But hey, I got this far at least without him, so that's pretty good on my part. Alright, I figured out what the problem was. That silver piece back there rotates separately from this little piece with the blue lines. I didn't notice that at first because that was very, very stiff. But yeah, that rotates all around and gives you clearance for the arms. That's what the problem was. But yeah, there we go. Nice, tight, you know, little race car right here. I love that. I'm okay with the clear plastic because that actually does kind of look like seats if you squint. But I'm okay with the clear plastic windows there. But that is a nice looking Jazz here. So, size comparison. Let's get some other vehicles in here and see how he, you know, compares with others. First, let's give him his gun, because that's one thing that I love to do with modern Transformer cars. First, we have Datsun, or in this case, Silver Streak, which is just a re-deco and slight retool of Smokescreen. Then we have Age of the Prime's bumper, which is just a slight re-deco of Studio Series 86 Bumblebee with a different head. On camera, he actually looks way more orange than he does in real life. In real life, he's definitely like a kind of a mustard yellow. But on camera, he's got a little bit of a gold to him. Like, this actually probably could have passed as Bumblebee if I didn't tell you that was Bumper. Can you see his head from underneath? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's Bumper from the Age of the Prime's 4-pack. You know, I got Ultra Magnus over there. And I decided to go ahead and transform Sideswipe, which, like Jazz, Sideswipe's got a very nice, easy transformation. That was really fun. I also really like the panel deco here. I think that rather than opting for Studio Series 86 on all my figures going forward, I might opt for Studio Series Devastation, because I am kind of a fan of the opaque windows. One, because it makes it look a little more cartoony, but also because, again, when you can't squint and make yourself believe that these are seats, it is a little distracting to just see the robot crunched up in there. You know, goes back to what I was talking about earlier with Kibble. It depends on how you like it. But yeah, I really like this Sideswipe. Kind of hope we get a Sunstreaker in this deco, like with these kind of windows, or maybe a Earthrise Sunstreaker with some third-party labels or what have you. But we're not here to talk about these guys. We're here to talk about this beautiful 3-pack. Pretty much all I got to say about Jazz. Really easily transforms. This wheel at the front is having some trouble contacting the ground. I think I just need to pinch it a little bit harder underneath. There we go. It's rolling nicely. Yeah, so now I got both Cybertronian and Earth Mode Jazz, which, fun fact, because they decided to do dramatic capture with the Cybertronian Jazz, that means that Jazz is the only character from a specific timeline that has appeared in more than one dramatic capture set as himself, like as a fully transformable figure. Well, yes, we do have the Nemesis Bridge that gives us Shockwave, Soundwave, and Megatron, and they are included in accessory packs for the upcoming Skywarp set. We also have Reflector, who's included with Thundercracker, but is also in that same Skywarp set. This is the only time a fully transforming Transformer character has been featured in 2 different dramatic capture sets. Again, this one is not from the dramatic capture set, but I'm okay with that, because, you know, again, I kind of like it better, and it was a gift from my bro. Thanks, bro. Love you, man. But, yeah, that's a little fun fact about Jazz. So, that's all I got for him. Now let's move on to Optimus Prime here. Well, I don't really know where to start. If he transforms anything like most other Optimus Prime vehicles have, or at least G1 adjacent, then I feel like I have an idea of how it would transform. Because if you watched my Ultra Magnus video, you saw that that was very simple. And one thing that they tend to do with Optimus Prime, at least in G1, is try to make him transform somewhat similar to what they had on screen. Like if you watch how he transformed in the 1986 movie, where he did the thing where his hands pull in and his arms go to his sides, because that's how the original toy transformed. Yeah, this is the Age of the Primes version of Ultra Magnus, but again, this is just a redeco of a certain Optimus, just using him for comparison's sake here. Like the arms will pull in, and then the shoulders will swivel around, and then the arms will tuck right here as part of the transformation. But it will be a little more complicated than that, but that's just what I'm assuming is going to happen here. So I'm going to see how far I can get without instructions, and then I'll come back to the instructions if I need them. I do notice that the chest is now a lot easier to open now that I got it open the first time. It was just really stuck that first time, but now it seems to be more willing to open. One thing I'm noticing here is that while the deco is different, I think the engineering on the legs for both the Earthrise and the Laser Prime are more or less the same, because you see it's still got that little slot right here where these flaps open to go into truck mode, same as over here. I'll pick that up in a second. And it's got it's still got the gas tanks on the back of the thighs. So the legs are pretty much the same from what I can tell on that. So it's just a matter of getting the cab transformed. And there we go, truck mode. So it appears that this figure shares enough of the same engineering DNA with Laser Optimus Prime that I was able to figure it out without looking at the instructions. Again, the legs are engineered virtually identically, despite some slight differences in like detailing and material and such. But as far as how they transformed, virtually identical. The upper half was not the same, but had some of the same tricks. Like the grill flips out. It's like the grill on this one, it does like kind of flip out and fold, and then the head has to tuck back underneath the cab, and the head like flip back right there. It did take some finagling to get the arms back there, and I was correct about where the arms ended up, but I also didn't know about the little flaps that pop out right there. Just kind of a little size comparison here with the Age of the Prime's Ultra Magnus. And again, because it is the Earthrise figure, but with a different coat of paint, it is compatible with the Laser Optimus and Earthrise trailers. I just thought it'd be funny to have Ultra Magnus here with this massive trailer. Because scale-wise, this figure does not fit in with current mainline Primes. I don't even think I actually got him fully transformed correctly. No, there's some slight differences. I didn't tab his legs in to the sides properly, so he wasn't sitting flush. But that's okay. This review is not about him. It's about Optimus over here. So he's just going to drive off with a stolen trailer. What I plan to do about the trailer for this guy is I eventually want to get the Volvo VNR Optimus, and as far as the outside of the trailer goes on that, it looks better than the actual Earthrise trailer because it's got the white stripe on the Autobot logo, little decal on the side. So I'll just use that as Earth Mode Optimus's non-special decode Earth Mode Optimus, just have them swap trailers whenever they need to. But take Scourge's trailer away. And now we move on to this guy. I'm going to do my best on getting this guy transformed, but I'm probably actually going to have to look at the instructions for him because I've never even watched a video on how to transform Mainframe. I know that Mainframe, like the name, is recycled from another G1 character, but I don't remember who at the moment. I think he was like a Microbot or a Spy Changer or something. Or Micromaster, you know. One of those little small Transformers that wasn't part of the main cast, like some comic comic or obscure toy line, maybe a Power Master of some sort. I'll have it up here. But yeah, Mainframe. So again, it's all just hanging out back here. It looks simple enough. It looks like a glorified panel former, but for the novelty of it being Teletran 1, I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can transform this guy. First, let's remove the satellite. Alright, even following the instructions, that's about as close as I could get him. The upper body was really easy to figure out, but the legs took me a bit, and they're not even fully tabbed into place. Even looking at the instructions, I think I might have done something wrong here. But I gotta say, this guy's plastic quality feels way different than these two. But I'm not surprised on that at all, because if I'm not mistaken, the Ark, and thus the Mainframe figure that came with him, would have been from the Titan's Return toy line, whereas these guys are from Earthrise and Kingdom, which came later. So the plastic does feel different. This one is, how do I describe it? It feels like a softer yet firmer plastic. The plastic is more smooth. This one is a little bit rough, like even on the parts that aren't really textured. Just by comparison, like, it's kind of weird to describe if you're not holding it. But this plastic definitely feels a little more hollow. I don't know if I'd say lower quality, but I don't trust it to stress tests as much as I would for these kind of figures, which don't really stress test your figures at all, like not at this price point. Size comparison for his robot mode, he does stand roughly shoulder to shoulder with Optimus Prime, and again, this Prime and that Prime are almost equal height at the head level, so yeah, that's pretty good size right there. The only accessory he came with was, again, the little spy satellite thing. So if you know someone on eBay selling other Transformer accessories and you want to give him someone else's gun from a different toy line or something, you got some options. I think this was a Thrilling 30s Blitzwing gun. That don't look too half bad on him. Wheeljack from, I think it's from the reveal of the Shield. It's got the same peg as that Scourge figure I did a review of a little while back. So yeah, you can give him one of those. And heck, that one could actually like tuck and fold away somewhere in computer mode. Or if you wanted to give Wheeljack a break, you give him the wrench and you have him repair the Autobots while he's not scanning for Decepticon activity. I kind of like this gun. I think I'm going to have that be his primary weapon. Aesthetically, it is more in line with like a lot of the modern ones because it's kind of got the pegs on the side, and it looks like it could accommodate for a small blast effect. But yeah, we'll save these other accessories for someone else. But that's just an idea there. Although I do kind of like the sci-fi ray gun kind of look that this one has, so maybe that should be his primary weapon. I don't know, it's going to depend on what other weapons I can get, because one thing I got to say about Wheeljack, even though I love the character to death, a lot of times he gets the short end of the stick on actual weapons that he gets included with. I do kind of like how he's got the orange eyes and the light piping here. Normally, I do prefer all my G1 Autobots to have blue eyes, but, you know, he's got a blue face. So I'll make an exception here. As for articulation, his head doesn't really move up or down at all. It only rotates. I think it's just on a peg right there. Arms, well, you can't really rotate the entire arm around because he's got a big flap where most of the computer comes from. But you can at least bend the arms out that far. Got a little bit of elbow bend, some rotate at the bicep, and the hands do not rotate either, but they do fold in for the transformation. Some hip swivel, but again, that's just for transformation, and that backpack really does get in the way of that. But again, he turns into a computer, so what do you expect? Knee bend can go that far. The feet can, well, the entire leg comes off right there because it's on a peg. Just be careful with them. The foot doesn't really bend up or down, but it does give you a little bit of side flip, which, again, as a pack-in figure, not really expecting too much on the articulation. So you could say that the Dramatic Capture set was just trying to milk a one-time use mold without a lot of engineering, just for the novelty. I feel like we do honestly get Mainframe mostly to just be Teletran 1 for our Transformers backdrops, because again, it's very novel to have an officially released Teletran 1 figure. So yeah, articulation is not the best on this guy, but it doesn't really need to be because he's going to spend most of his time stationary anyway. But yeah, so Mainframe, the Autobot computer. I imagine he and Perceptor often have long, lengthy conversations, you know, just being the brains of the bunch. Studio Series 86 Perceptor is also on my list of characters to get. But yeah, so that was the Dramatic Capture Autobot Headquarters set with a couple of extra accessories. So yeah, I'm really glad that I finally got this. I finally have a leader for my Autobots who actually fits and isn't just a holiday special or a corporate branding. I finally have an Optimus Prime that fits in with my current toy set, and the Mainframe edition was just a whole lot of fun. And Jazz was kind of just along for the ride because I could have gotten a Studio Series 86 one, but I held out because I wanted to get this set, and Jazz was included with it, so I'm like, yeah, I don't need two Earth Mode Jazzes, they're so similar. But yeah, I do have a couple more comments on this Jazz, but that will have to wait until I get around to reviewing the Origins version of Jazz, because there's like one or two specific things I want to mention. But that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Special thanks to all Patreon supporters, including Mark Hastings,